Well, today is my 34th day with 0 calories. I've had nothing but water for 34 days. And this has been something I've wanted to do since I was 18 years old. So, I'm 44 today. Over the course of 26 years, I have probably started a 40-day water fast dozens of times. And then I hit day 4, 5, 7, 10, 12, and I say, this is not the time to do 40 days. Um, and of course, I mean, the challenge, think of this as like just as big of a challenge as I could take on. So that's the reality of this experience. I was under this false impression. I've always had a family doctor that's walked me through my long extended fasts. I've really tried to be careful as I've done these things. And I've always had a doctor support me through it. And as I've done these over the years, I have consistently thought about, how how do I do this in a way that's as safe as possible, but still allows me to experience what I want to get out of this? How do I get the experience of this hardship that's on purpose, this discipline, this pursuit? Um, and as I came to the conclusion of doing this a couple months ago, so much of my decision was based around I really finally felt like I had the grace to do so. Now, here's the false impression I was under. I've studied water fasting, and granted, anybody that's watching this or sees this later, a water fast is really like 36 hours is a great water fast. 72 hours is a great water fast, right? A half a day, 3 days. I don't personally suggest anybody does long, extended water fasts for health reasons. There's certainly reasons to do so, but there's also potential consequences around doing so. And I really am very hesitant to encourage people to do anything even remotely close to what I'm pursuing. However, there are some big benefits around doing a water fast. And in thinking of those benefits, your body basically goes into crisis, okay? And all of your old cells get rebuilt because your body's like, there's something wrong. We're not getting any food. Like, let's get into the mode of fixing this human. Um, and so I think in my mind, I thought, there's no time I'll be more impenetrable to sickness. Well, that's not true. I didn't realize that usually around day 20 or so of a water only fast, there's something some people call a fasting flu. Other people call it a keto flu because you go into deep, deep ketosis where your body's just burning fat. And um, I don't know if that's what happened to me on day 21 or if I legitimately got a cold or a flu, but I definitely got sick. And, it is challenging to not consume any calories. It is challenging to not eat. When you combine that with a upset tummy and a sore throat and all of the other things that are going on, it is really um, difficult. So I was doing these videos. I started doing them on day 12 because my longest fast was 12 days in the past. So I thought to myself, you know what? I'm going to wait till day 12. And as soon as I hit day 12, 13, I'm going to start making some daily videos and just share my story. Because I'm on YouTube, I'm looking for people like who's done a 40-day fast. And I found some stuff, but I didn't find a lot of stuff. And you look through if you're a spiritual person and you look to a faith paradigm, let's say that you're a Christian or a Jew or a Catholic, you might look to the Old Testament and you see there's only two people that did a fast, and they were weird fasts, right? Moses up on a mountain for 40 days. Apparently, no food or water. It's sustained by God as he gets the 10 Commandments. Homeboy comes down off the mountain, throws the commandments down. He's so angry with his tribe, and it goes back up for another 40 days. So apparently Moses did 80 days, but it wasn't like he went on a 40-day fast. The only other one is Elijah. And even that was weird. I mean, the guy was afraid of the queen, Jezebel, even though he just had this powerful all-time high moment, and he's running away from her. I guess birds came and brought him food. I wasn't there, but that's what it says. And then he travels for 40 days, apparently with no food. Doesn't seem to me like he intended to do a 40-day fast. So if you share any of those three faiths, and even Muslims look favorably upon a lot of the things of the Old Testament. They look at Abraham as a father through Ishmael, as Jews look at Abraham as a father through Isaac. And so there's a lot of the world's faiths that look upon this initial Torah, as it's called, and they look and they say, here's two humans that did this extended fast, but it didn't seem purposeful. So then you look at what is seen by the Catholics and Christians as the New Testament, right? This whole entire new sacred scriptures built around the person of Jesus of Nazareth. Now, he did do a 40-day fast on purpose. He's the only person that's done a 40-day fast on purpose in the scriptures that we know of. Lots of people fasted, but this was very purposeful. He goes out to the desert, apparently definitely no food, apparently no water. So God sustained him supernaturally. I'm not totally sure. And then on the last day, he gets tempted by the devil. The devil uses scripture to try to manipulate Jesus, and he uses scripture back. And it's this all-out battle, and Jesus comes out victorious. And then he starts his 3-year ministry where he starts to recruit his followers. And if you've seen the new TV show called The Chosen, it's done a pretty cool job of explaining Jesus's approach that feels very human. So if you're a faith-oriented person, there's not a lot to lean on. Gandhi wanted to do a 40-day fast. Apparently, maybe he did, but a lot of times it seems as though he only did 21-day fasts, which is crazy. And he was very thin, so I can't imagine what that was like for him. And he fasted for political reasons, spiritual reasons. And there's lots of other people that have been doing fasts. Lou Engle's pretty well known. I've introduced him to a lot of folks, but he usually does these long extended fasts to try to encourage other people. It's not a personal thing for him to do exclusively. It's for him to make a point of what he's trying to gather other humans together. Like, let's all make this sacrifice together. Let's do this thing together. And I don't resonate with any of those things. There's a movie with these two brothers that just did a 40-day fast, 20 days no water. 20 days no food, and then 20 days with fruit. I always find it fascinating that people constantly break their fast with watermelon. I'm like, why would you ever want to tap your system with no food in it with a bunch of sugar? But whatever. I plan on using fasting bone broth when I start to consume calories again. So I don't find that there's a lot of examples, right? Because I'm not going to the desert. I'm not going to a mountain. I'm still living my normal life. I'm a father of 3 boys. I'm a husband. I'm a son, and I'm a brother. I run a couple global companies. I have employees all over the world. I have massive responsibilities in my life every single day. My responsibilities don't end. So just because I'm choosing to do something that is extreme does not mean that my traditional responsibilities are ending. I'm not taking 40 days off to do this. I'm integrating a fast into my life. And so when I look at documentaries, social media, YouTube videos, I did not find a lot of content out there that I could feel was a relevant thing for me. And so in light of that, I started making videos on day 12 or 13. And I made them until day 21. And then I got sick. And then every day since then, for the last 2 weeks, I've constantly said, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and sit down and make a video. But to be honest, it's just a lot. It's a lot just to like live with no food, to be honest with you. And jumping on and making a video is one thing, but then there's the whole process of uploading it. Like it might take me 10 minutes to make a video, 2 minutes to make a video. But then I'm like fooling around on my phone uploading a video, which is why I'm using this new streaming tool here. Now I'm live here, TikTok. I see you. I'm loving you right now. But on the other four channels, YouTube and LinkedIn and Facebook and X, I'm using this technology called StreamYard, which we use for one of our businesses. So I'm hoping that this makes it a little bit easier. And I would like to capture the next 6 days, right? I'm on day 34. I started my fast right around this time. It was right around 8 or 9 p.m. on day one. And so I have 6 full days left. And at the end of 6 days, I have a whole plan of how I'm going to take 20 days to kind of integrate food back into my system, starting with bone broth, eventually soft boiled eggs, and then I'll add other elements. And as I prepare myself for this, um, there's other things like I'm going to shave my beard. I've had a big, huge beard. This is a massive, hairy animal on my face, and I've had this beard now for a couple of years. My wife has never seen a clean shaven Ian, and except for photos. So I thought about doing it at the end of 40 days, but I'm down here. I'm like, yeah, I still got a little bit of that baby face going on. I'm not interested in seeing a round face. So I'll probably wait till day 60, but I will be shaving my beard. And, that's going to be a big change. My body has changed. My body has changed drastically. Now, I've still gone to the gym pretty regularly, except for instead of lifting 100 or 200 pounds in the gym and doing 5, 10 reps, I'm doing like 10 pounds and 30 reps. Uh, Whatever ego I have had about being a big, strong man in the gym, that has been crushed. All that ego, whatever that subconscious thing is of trying to be a big, strong dude and showing people, look how much I curl, look how much I lift, like that's all out the window. I go to the gym, I don't even sweat. I don't even get my heart rate up. My resting heart rate right now is 51 beats per minute, which is incredible. I guess that's a good indicator for your health and your longevity. And when I used to live, my heart rate was maybe 75-ish, probably varied. And I go to the gym, I'd get up to 140, 150, 160. Well, now I go to the gym, I only get up to 85 or 90. I mean, my heart rate's higher when I ride the one wheel, which I still am doing. In fact, I've had some mystical one wheel rides. I have had some enlightened, elevated, evolved one wheel rides, everybody. I must say, not to say that I recommend riding the one wheel to anybody because it's dangerous, but it's delicious. And certainly not on a fast. But I've done 10,000 miles, so I feel like it's kind of like walking for me at this point. I figure if I'm going to walk, I can ride a one wheel. Uh, I've had all these experiences, right? And I don't find that other people have shared these experiences. Obviously, I'm a little scattered in my time with you, and that's fine. This part of why I make a video and go live right now is for myself. I'm documenting an experience, and I lost the last 2 weeks because I just did not feel good, and I didn't want to make this video. I did not want to get on and make a video and share my journey, but I chose to because I want to share this really, really powerful story I heard tonight. It's a story about hope. And I'll end with this. And then may I have the follow through to make 6 more videos as I finish day 35 through 40. And maybe I'll continue to share my story as I get into transitioning to a normal life. And maybe I'll share shaving my beard and all that silliness. Here's the story. In 2012, the worst sea situation that's ever been recorded happened. 2 men left to do a fishing trip, and they called in and they said, our motor died. And the guy said on the other radio, well, drop your anchor. And the guys respond, we have no anchor. It turns out they saw there was no anchor, but they didn't care because they're just going out for a little fishing trip. They never could have imagined their motor would die. Well, their boat drifted for 14 months, all the way from South America to the Marshall Islands or something, way over near Hawaii or Southeast Asia. 14 months. 14 months they lived off rainwater. 14 months they lived off fishing. Well, there's two men on the boat. One man was younger, stronger, healthier. But that man kept saying to himself, "We're not going to make it. We're going to die out here. No one's ever going to find us." Because after a certain number of time, they give up. You don't keep looking for a drifting boat. And the man that did survive, his family had a funeral for him. But the younger, stronger, more capable man, he died. He died because he had no hope. Reminds me of all the 40-day fasts I've started that I ended on day 5, 7, 10, 12. My pursuit of this lifetime goal died because I lost hope that I could finish the 40 days. You see, when I started this fast, I knew I had the grace to finish. I've maintained the hope to finish. It doesn't matter that I get sick. It doesn't matter how hard it is. It doesn't matter how I feel. As long as I can physically finish this goal, I'm going to. So the rest of the story goes some crazy 400 plus days. He's out at sea, 14 months. He sees an island finally. He sees some seagulls and he sees an island. He jumps off the boat, swims to the island, finds somebody, and gets rescued. You imagine his family, right? Uh, if you see this live, you know that depending where you're at in the world, it's the night before Easter or it's the morning of Easter if you're in Asia. This is a big deal for a lot of humanity. A lot of humanity celebrate the story of Jesus of Nazareth being crucified and then rising from the dead. I mean, it's the most hopeful of all stories, right? Defeating death. Not just like Jesus calling Lazarus out of the grave, being resurrected for a period of time, but defeating death once and for all. This whole thought is the most hopeful of all thoughts. And I think about the story and I think about the significance of hope. And I compare myself today, knowing that I entered this fast with the grace to finish what I started, knowing that I came into this with the wind in my sail to accomplish my goal. And that belief gave me the hope that no matter what I faced, no matter what sickness I faced, no matter how bad I felt, no matter how many times I made dinner for my family or was out at a restaurant sitting down, or how many things I faced that have been temptations or challenges, it doesn't matter. I have hope compared to past times where I lost hope and I thought, this is not the time I'm going to do this. And I think about the two men in the boat and the one that dies after 2 months because he keeps saying to himself, we're never going to make it. We're going to die out here. And then the other man, that what he did is he meditated on the vision every day. One day I'm going to get rescued. One day I'm going to see my family. One day I'm going to have a girlfriend. One day I'm going to get married. One day I'm going to have kids. One day I am going to make it. I hope. And friends, let me tell you, hope is arguably the most important thing that we have in our human experience. It is so hard to be a human. I often think of humans as the body of an animal and the mind of a God. The conflict of constantly wanting to eat, have sex, sleep, have pleasure, and then on the other hand, be have a life of meaning and of purpose and of legacy and love others and serve others and be connected to others. And this conflict that humans face all the time. And the ease by which we give into hopelessness, the ease by which we want to throw in the towel. And, I went too far. I made too big of a mistake. It's over for me. It said you can go without food, obviously, for a long, long time. Been 34 days for me. It is documented. There's a monk that made it 170 days without food. Scientifically documented. I wasn't there, but that's what they say. Obviously, a lot of people have done 40s. I think 40 was like this model that had been laid out that people have pursued. So you go 40 days or more without food. I suggest that if you do so, you should start off a little fat and fluffy. I certainly was. It's made it much easier for me to lose 52 pounds already. I've already lost 52 pounds in 34 days. I still have enough to lose, so I'm not concerned about it. You can go several days without water. I know some people have gone more than a several, maybe into the fives and sevens, but at some point you're going to die from not having water. You can go, some people can hold their breath for, I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, something silly like that. So you can go, I don't know, 10 plus minutes without air if you're trained. But can you live at all without hope? Can you live at all without hope? And so then, it helps me to reflect on how am I going to take the hope that's gotten me to this point in this journey? How am I going to take this hope and extend this determination and hope and fortitude into all the other areas of my life? How am I going to be more hopeful as a husband? How am I going to be more hopeful as a father, as a businessman, as a member of society, as a friend? How am I going to be more hopeful as an innovator? What am I going to do differently? Because I've experienced this challenge and overcome it. And these are the things that are on my mind. Now, many times I make these videos on a one wheel and they're only a minute, 2, 3 minutes long. Obviously, I decided to share much more extensively. Part of that is I've been unavailable and just didn't want to make a video, to be honest with you. I just wanted to lay down and rest. It's my favorite thing to do right now. When I do a meeting, I'm very clear, very articulate. I'm feeling real sharp. But after my meeting, it feels like I just ran a marathon. I am, for some reason, exhausted from talking. I think I'm going to go night night. It just got dark outside. And when I finish this video, it's time for sleep. But I do recognize the reason why I started making the videos was because I wanted to share my story, because I wanted someone else that was pursuing a goal like this to share their story that I could relate to. And I didn't find much that met that criteria, if anything. And so, even though I don't encourage anyone to do a 40-day fast or any over the top extended fasting past 36 or 72 hours, and if anyone does it, I would encourage them to have medical supervision. I still recognize that people are going to do whatever they want. And there are going to be people that are going to pursue this for physical reasons, emotional reasons, spiritual reasons. And I have found great benefit in all three of those areas of my life. And if they do, I hope that my story and my journey can be an encouragement to them. And since I'm trying to be an encouragement, I'm not just trying to tell my story, I'm trying to tell other people's stories that are relatable. And I've done this over the course of my other videos as well, and I'll continue to do so. So most likely, I will come back and have a day 35, and I will continue to share my last week. It is, you can count on me to not be a big complainer. I'm not going to bitch and moan about how all the details of how difficult and challenging this is, but I will do my best to share with you some of the cool things that I'm experiencing and try to bring you into my world a little bit. And if you find it beneficial, yay. I'm glad that you do. And I thank you for your attention. And I hope you have a very, very happy weekend if you're watching this live. It's a special weekend for many people all around the world. And I hope that it is a wonderful time for you. And if you watch this in the future, thank you. Thank you for taking a peek at my story. Maybe my great grandkids will watch this hundreds of years from now. I often think about my ancestor, Lieutenant Moraga, who founded the city of San Jose, California. And so I hope that my life will be an inspiration to my future generations because I have hope, not just for this fast or my life, but for humanity. I have hope that all this new innovation of AI and all these things, that it's good for humanity. So I intend humans to thrive. I don't have a doomsday bone in my body. I have a hopeful outlook for us. And so, whoever you are, whenever it is that you're watching this story, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it.